You are watching Channel Adrian TV.
Yo, YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, wherever you're watching this, welcome back to another video. And this video is part of my reaction series to The Warriors about each gang in the Warriors movie. And then at the end, I will do a full movie review with y'all. And this video deals with the silent mimes who terrorized NYC, hi-hats origins. But if you remember in the movie, the people who had the face paint who kind of looked like mimes with the hats who were originally called the hi-hats, that's the gang they're talking about. Now, some people may not view them as tough, but me personally, if I see a person in a clown outfit or with face paint and a hi-hat at dark, especially in New York City, I'm gonna go the other way across the street. But let's get into the video.
In the back alleys of Soho, they don't shout, they don't scream, they don't even whisper. They just stare, painted faces under tall black hats, waiting for you to step into their silent stage. Who are the hi-hats? This is the secret origin of the creepiest gang in the Warriors universe, where every act ends in fear and silence.
And see, I agree with him right there. They're not so much as terrifying, but seeing some people dressed like that at night, just like the Furies, that is creepy and eerie.
They don't speak, they don't smile, they just stare. Faces painted white under towering black top hats, moving like shadows through the echoing side streets of Soho. In a city crawling with gangs that shout their colors and brawl in packs, the hi-hats stand alone. A gang that never yells but always performs. So where did they come from? Why the mimes? Why the silence? Why does every rumor say, if you see the hi-hats watching, you're already part of their final act? This is the untold truth of the hi-hats. 1969. New York's downtown theater scene is on life support. Broadway is thriving uptown, but downtown, crumbling playhouses, abandoned vaudeville halls, old burlesque houses turned flop houses. In that underground, a failed vaudeville performer named Grimes takes root. Grimes was once a street busker, part Charlie Chaplin, part broken clown. After being kicked from a touring vaudeville troupe for starting fights backstage, he drifts into the subway tunnels, pulling together a tiny cult of fellow outcasts. Failed jugglers, runaways, kids tossed from street circuses. He names them the hi-hats, for the tall black top hats they salvaged from trash bins behind the shuttered Majestic Theater.
Okay, so that's how they got the name the hi-hats. The leader, they just grabbed whatever they could because since they were so-called, I guess, just performing in the streets in New York City. So after the Majestic, it says the Majestic Theater fell apart or closed down, they were able to get some props, which were the hats. So that's how they became the hi-hats.
It means more. We are above the rest. Performers and predators. The hat is the crown. By 1971, the hi-hats have grown to 12 core members, all drifters. They start by busking in Soho, painting their faces like mimes, working silent skits on the sidewalks for spare change. But street performance isn't enough. They need turf, they need fear, they need a legend. So they turn their acts into ambushes, pickpocketing crowds, staging fake fights, robbing marks who stand too close. By 1973...
So they use the performing, regardless if they were pantomiming or any type of acts they were doing, they would use their performances as a way to get people close so they could rob them.
Word spreads. Don't trust the mimes in the hats. 1974. The hi-hats solidify their look. Red shirts with black stripes, black suspenders, black pants, white gloves, tall black top hats, and that ghost white mime face paint. Every detail means something. Stripes symbolize the prison bars and stage curtains. The cage we escape, the stage we own. Face paint strips away identity. All hi-hats are equal on the street. top hat, crown for the performance. Lose your hat, you lose your face. The ritual. Before stepping out, every hi-hat gathers backstage in their hidden lair, an abandoned prop room below an old...
And looking at that, this may show my age. I don't know if y'all remember when a lot of emo bands were very huge, but they kind of give me a vibe of Panic at the Disco. If y'all remember what that emo band was. I think there was an emo band, but they look creepy right here. Like, that's what I'm saying. If you see people like that, like at 2 or 3 in the morning in New York City, I don't know if you ever been in New York City, but yeah, I'm definitely going the other way.
Soho Playhouse. Grimes, or the director, inspects every face for perfect paint. There's even a makeup master, ex-carnival artist, who checks each recruit before they step onto the streets. The rule: when the top hat goes on, the mouth stays shut. Not a word is spoken in costume. If a member breaks silence in public, they vanish. Some say they're forced to act out a final performance that no one survives. 1978. The hi-hats claim Soho's abandoned playhouses and hidden subway exits as their turf. Their base? The backstage, a rotting vaudeville prop room littered with broken mirrors, shredded curtains, and old mannequins dressed like audience ghosts. They guard it with fear, not brute force alone. Their skits blur the line between art and threat. They surround intruders, performing silent routines that end in cold muggings or quiet stabbings. Wander in, they circle.
And I know this is fictional from the movie, but I wouldn't be surprised if people are out here dressed like this. Now, they may not have the exact uniform, but being underground in the theater, you know how there's so many cults, I wouldn't be surprised by that. And plus, how they look right here, that they also kind of remind me of, I guess, I can't remember what Joker's gang members were. I guess Jokers or something like that, whatever they were called. How they look right there, all them grinning and smiling, remind me of the Jokers.
Silent, smiling, staring, until you bolt. Some say they never run, they just appear. Rival gangs. The Boppers think they're creepy clowns. The Furies respect the theatrical flair, but nobody wants to fight a gang that never shouts warnings. After Cyrus's summit in 1979, whispers spread. The hi-hats offered their silent services to the riffs as spies. Perfect eyes and ears, no risk of betrayal through talk. Stories swirl, the final act. Traitors forced to perform their betrayal on an abandoned stage, never to leave alive. A hidden tunnel under Soho, painted with murals of every known hi-hat. Each face crossed out when they break the silence. Some say Grimes never died. He's buried alive under the majestic, hat on head, waiting for the final curtain call. What do they want? Not just turf, not just money. The hi-hats want the city to be their endless stage, every corner a performance, every shadow an audience. And the top hat? A crown, a mask, a final curtain for whoever dares to watch too long.
Now, one thing I will say while watching this is they're talking about the emphasis of them being quiet and not saying much. And I would say I would agree with that because there's a lot of power in silence, especially if you know when to talk and don't say much. That can be intimidating to most people.
Sunham fans have long speculated there's a loose symbolic link between the hi-hats and the Warriors.
Which that's dope. The hi-hat from the Warriors and the Mad Hatters from, I think the movie was the 5 Gangs of New York with Leonardo DiCaprio. Which, see, this is why I think this content creator is so dope. Just being able to mesh those worlds together because you can see a resemblance there.
1979. And the Natives Gang in Gangs of New York.
Yep.
2002. Why? Mainly the hats. Both gangs wear tall, old-school hats. The natives with their stovepipe top hats or battered bowlers. The hi-hats with tall black top hats. Both gangs also tie their look to power, the hat as a crown or the symbol of control. The deeper vibe, the natives, led by Bill the Butcher, were all about claiming New York streets as theirs. They were territorial, theatrical, and ruthless, using
And one of my favorite movies, because I don't want to say like I'm a history buff to where I'll get a book and read history, but I like movies that do tie in history because it's a capsule in time, like I said in previous videos. And just looking at this picture right here, that's a capsule in time, even though this is from the movie. But there was a point in time in history when people dressed like that. And that's why I do like history, because even though that's from a long time ago, those things still matter. How you see the Mad Hatters with those top hats, that did symbolize status, money, power, just like how brand labels do the same thing. So the same thing still happens, it's just in a different part of time.
style and intimidation to control immigrants and rivals. The hi-hats, same idea, but pushed into a modern 1970s street gang version. Instead of butcher coats and stovepipe hats, they're mimes with top hats, using silence and stage tricks instead of brute political force. Any real connection? Canonically, no direct link. The Warriors was made decades before Gangs of New York hit screens. Walter Hill's film drew from Saul Urich's novel and real NYC gang myths of the late 60s and 70s. Scorsese's Gangs of New York dives into Civil War era gang history, but the costume design for the hi-hats could easily have drawn subconscious inspiration from New York's real history of bowler hat and stovepipe hat gangs. Bottom line, there's no confirmed storyline that the hi-hats descend from the natives, but visually, they feel like distant spiritual cousins. Same city, same hats, same desire to be above the rest, whether by voice or by silence. A city of gangs with bats, chains, and war cries. But these guys, they need none of it. Just a top hat, white paint, and silence. So tell me, are the hi-hats brilliant artists, a roaming cult, or just monsters in makeup? Drop your take in the comments. What's their real secret? Hit that like button if the hi-hats still freak you out decades later. And subscribe to Real Reels for the next Lost Gang story. Until next time, stay quiet, stay sharp, and never break the silence. Can you dig it?
And y'all, once again, another great video from Real Reels. And the one thing that stands out from this video is, like, I loved how they tied in the five gangs from New York from that Leonardo DiCaprio movie, which was definitely dope. Y'all remember, give this content creator support. I do link the original video in the description. And if you want to see sneaker reviews, sport reviews, my NFL and FanDuel videos, morning motivation, Sunday service to get you through the week, police body cams, relationship reactions, any video you could think of, subscribe to Channel Adrian TV.